the information away and research it?
I've already done that actually. I just wanted to look at it when I get home, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a flight to Fuerteventura. First time we'd flown last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last March. And I'm thinking this is a bit strange. If that window blew out, you know, all the air was sucked out. What about our atmosphere in the month, you know? So that was a bit weird. And then when I got home, I googled the curvature over 2,000 miles, which is the distance of Fuerteventura, 252 miles. I thought, no, that was flying level. In fact, it's slightly up, if anything. You know, nose up, not nose down. Yeah, definitely. Because I was walking up and down, you know, a bit bored. Yeah, so that kind of opened. And funnily, because I've been awake to all the other shit that's going on since 2009, you know.
Oh, wow.
Edge of Media. And, you know, Richard Hall and Ian Crane and whatnot. Yeah, so, yeah, but it's took me a while to get my head around this. But when I was just telling Daz, when I was a child, and they first told me the Earth was a spinning ball, and the Australians were walking around upside down, the sea was upside. I'm thinking, nah. I think a child's logic is you can rely more on a child's logic than them lying bastards, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't want to say anything because you're going to look a fool in class, aren't you? You know.
Yeah. I did and got kicked out.
Yeah.
When they were about gravity in the upper limb, I said, well, the apple's heavier than air. It's bound to fall.
Yes.
Whether it's gravity or not.
Smart lady.
So I was told I was an idiot.
Yes.
More or less.
They want to shame you.
Yeah, and made me stand outside the class. But I used to ask stupid questions in the end, just to get stood outside the class because I didn't want to be in there anyway.
Yeah, like the pyramid.
Well, your higher self knew that this was all bollocks, right?
I loved history.
These days you'd be classed as ADHD, wouldn't you?
Yes, yes. I've got some flyers for you guys to take away with you.
Yeah, thank you.
I discovered this first 10 years ago.
Right.
And so I've been doing a lot of research and flying and imagining and thinking how I could work. And you're absolutely right. I was a youngster and said to my teacher, spinning a bucket full of water with a rope is not mimicking what you call gravity. You know, you're creating a bucket and a rope and centrifugal force and all of that.
Yeah.
So naturally, centrifugal force is going to want to push things off. But at the same time as I was saying that to my science teacher, I was saying to my Bible study teachers, why does the Bible say that the Earth is not moving? It's a firmament, and then the sun and the moon come after the Earth rather than the sun comes before the Earth, according to
Do you
science.
remember 2014?
Down. I do feel in my lifetime it's going to crumble, and I think the strong will survive, and we will get through this. I really believe. In here, I believe we are going to get through this, and we are more than this.
Yes.
Absolutely more than this.
Yes.
And I'm not a religious person, but pretty.
We are
tapped in.
definitely more than this. I did
Tapped in.
DMT 10 years ago.
Did you?
And I was an atheist. 7 minutes later, the first words I could say was, it's true, there is a God.
Yeah.
So we are only here in a temporary visitation in this avatar, and we return to our eternal, never-ending selves, our higher self, which is somehow connected to all that is.
And that gives you courage.
Yes.
That makes you think, I'm not playing a game.
Yes.
And no matter how much fear they throw at us, every now and again you might dip, but if you've got that self, you really believe that, they can't take that away from you.
Yes.
And you're really brave then and strong, aren't you?
And you'll find your own.
Getting all excited.
You'll find your own life raft. You won't go down with the ship, because that's what's going to happen. The ship, unfortunately, is sailed. And jumping off on the life raft or swimming to shore is, even though it's hard, is the best course of action.
And there's so many links, aren't there? It's like now I don't believe in viruses anymore. You know, like germ theory, terrain theory, and of course you're nuts. Like HIV/AIDS. Yeah, well, read about it, mate. Who was the guy that ran it? Tony Fauci. You couldn't make it up. The shit that they've done.
What's the definition of virus? There is not one apart from in Latin, which means venom.
I'm
banned off Facebook and WhatsApp, which is quite good.
Yeah.
I don't care. They banned me.
Probably good.
My son said to me, Mum, you need to get off because you can have the SAS coming down.
Well, they get off social media because it's just basically the devil.
I'm banned anyway.
It's demonic. Wasting time
tried to
writing
get back
posts to
on.
each other about crap. Better to be in person, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good to do it. That's why I do the street activism. I've been doing it for 8 years. But it is nice to have a presence on social media and have a community. And they want to break those communities. They ripped my YouTube channel with me a couple of years ago as well. So, and it does shatter the community that I had held with me for a few years, you know.
But maybe it's a sign to do it in person. As I'm saying, it's like actually stronger bonds.
Yeah, I mean, all I was doing was researching and copy and pasting off Pfizer, copy and pasting off US government websites, our website. I was just copy and pasting stuff, and I just said to everyone, fear it's a virus here, fear, of course.
Shake my hand. I'm very proud.
Warrior.
What's funny is I was going to say, because once I stopped believing in viruses, I've been talking to you, but I haven't got a cold. It's like shouting for 3 days, but I don't get sick anymore.
Yeah.
Or if you do, you're just detoxing.
And everybody else.
Yeah, it's a detox.
Or an upgrade. Are you familiar with germ warfare? You know, Jeremy, germ warfare, the podcast. Yeah. So the funny South African, and he's like on this journey, like Sam and Mark Bailey, the sort of terrain theory, and then there's a podcast called Terrain Theory, which I'm into now, and they're on this journey, and they're like, you can just listen like normal people, just going from like, we're not quite sure about this like germ stuff, and then over the years it's like fucking hell. Frequency healing, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And I watch everybody around me getting sick.
That's
they
for you.
use the rifle machines. Every hospital in the 30s had a rifle machine. But this, that satellite thing had not even crossed my mind. So that's really interesting.
Satellites, and the data industry acknowledged that 99% of all data traffic is undersea cable. And all of our mobile phones only work from ground towers, which is why we can't stream from here or watch videos or whatever. We can barely get any signal down in that hill, but you go a little bit higher up here, now you've got a signal. Why? Because you can see the line of the tower.
So what about the cloud?
It's not above you.
The iCloud, the big computer they've got everything on, they call it the iCloud.
Well, these are data centers.
Yeah, they're because our daughter's just dating a South African guy. He was in the armed police in South Africa, white South African, and he's here now. And he said, I can see exactly what's happening to this country right now. But he's a plumber. Okay. And he does, he services a lot of the embassies around the world. Oh, right. So he had to go to Whitehall for high clearance. He said, I couldn't believe it. They had all his telephone conversations all printed out, his emails printed out.
Well, everything is going to be held somewhere, isn't it?
And you're like, fuck, I'm fucked.
They'll be listening now. We've all got phones or whatever.
My view is that I'm not a big enough fry, but we know that there have been big fries who have been fried because they were too much of a voice.
You become a threat, and all of a sudden you're on the list or whatever.
I mean, me and Flat Earth, they've already demonized us. The majority of people still snigger and think I'm ridiculous, as you say. So we're not really a big threat. They've kind of done a bit of a job on us, a number on us from
to make it sound ridiculous.
When you're 6 years old, they said you'd fall off the edge if the Earth was flat. How many people today still say that? Why don't we?
And they laugh at you for thinking, you believe everything you read. Hang on a minute. The BBC symbol is the BBC World, isn't it? The globe.
It's
universal pictures.
That globe is interesting because up to the 30s, I believe, they were still teaching the Earth was flat. And then all of a sudden, along come the globes. Now, I remember being in school, every classroom on a desk had a globe. There was a globe everywhere, and that goes into your subconscious. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
James
then you're programmed.
Repeat the lie often enough.
You met have you heard of James Delingpole?
Yes,
There's a Delingpole.
Yeah.
He's on the journey again. He's like he's starting to think about flat Earth. He thinks it's flat.
I think I have to talk to him, actually.
Yeah, definitely do. Because he's into all that, and even Jern would probably do a podcast with you. But it's that idea that what are the two things that everyone's kids have on their pajamas, on the duvets, on the wall?
What the rockets and the planets
dinosaurs
and dinosaurs.
Oh, dinosaurs! Don't get me
So
started on
Delingpole's he's like fucking hell. These are the two things we all. Every kid has to have dinosaurs.
Can I give you a flyer?
A rocket.
This is why they would lie. That's people say, why would they lie? Why would they bother with the globe lie?
That's what Delingpole would say. So there were big creatures and they were dragons. But I think again it's funny watching other people on the same journey, and I've reached a stage where anything that people laugh at me in the pub. Fuck me, that's probably true.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, was the Holocaust real? It's like, well, why? That's fascinating. So you're kind of like prepared to discuss whether HIV/AIDS is real, but I can't do the Holocaust. And you start going down to well, what else is it I can't talk about? And
you want to go on my channel? I do street activism, and there's two incidents that I have. One in Wales. About 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, and recently in some other city. Anyway, the guy, they were also our age and similar kind of demographic. And one of them I said about COVID, not being real, and he went absolutely apeshit on me, apeshit. And then one other guy, I was in Guildford. I said to him, I'm not sure exactly about the Holocaust, that it's everything that they told us.
All the numbers and who was killed and whatever.
And his loudest voice in the whole of Guildford High Street could hear, "This guy's an anti-Semite, blah, blah, blah." Oh my gosh. So yeah, you're right. You know, when they're laughing, you know you're on it.
You Guildford based actually live in Hazelmere. There are quite a few South Africans live in Hazelmere. You know, it's like a little enclave. You know, their sons play rugby or whatever. They must be on some WhatsApp group. You know, come to England and live in Guildford, Hazelmere sort of area. But it's it's fascinating. So once you do that, I think people like walk out climate change, literally having a glass of wine or something like that, and I'm just saying. I'm not sure that I really fully believe the climate change stuff. Oh fucking hell! Yeah, literally. I I'm not quite sure about all of it. Literally, I can't talk to you. I'm going.
No, but then that's why they're so close-minded, aren't they? It's like the vaccine, you know. You try and say something, and they go, they're not ready. They're not open-minded enough. They're still on their journey, maybe.
It should be funny. He's like mid-50s. I'm 51, but he's mid-50s. I didn't know him then, but he had a gay partner. He's gay. He had a gay partner that died of AIDS. Do you know what I mean?
So that's really triggering.
And he's got a good friend now. But he's walked out before, but now he will. You can see that slowly, like, to explain to me what you think it is. Then you know, he's kind of gone from that, like, he didn't talk to me for 2 weeks, kind of thing. You know, fuck it, stay away from me. You're nuts. And then you can start to sort of see, actually, why is it you think that? Do you know what I mean? Is that tiny little bit?
Sow seeds and maybe they grow.
But it's so
that's right, and that's you know, some people have said, because I think I've been coming here 3 years, and I think that some people have softened a bit on the flat Earth this year than previous years.
If you asked me 3 years ago, I wouldn't. Probably 2 or 3 years ago is when I really started going. I'm prepared to think it might be flat.
I'm absolutely open and prepared. I feel it's expanding too.
Yeah.
I don't know whether
There are.
I'm not coming from a science. I feel it's expanding, and there are realms.
But there are funny things because
Yes. And some of those realms could exist in the same space.
Yeah.
You know, I've said to people, like, at a different frequency, because we can't see much of the frequency spectrum, right? So at different frequencies, different energy levels, there could be a truck driving on a highway right through the space we're in now, and we can't feel it, and they can't see us. And or on a flat Earth, we also think that there are lands possibly beyond the continents that we already know.
Antarctica or whatever, all those sort of things.
I'm seeing and feeling, because I'm quite.
And remember, in the mainstream science, they talk about constant inflation. And when they do background radiation mapping, which is a real science, you know, the difference I have with them is that they say that light that they're measuring is 13 billion light years away, or 13 million light years away, where I say, no, this is maybe tens of thousands of miles, you know, not billions and millions and trillions and quadrillions of miles. So everything is much closer. But they do this background radiation map, which shows Earth right at the center, and then they get this, like, electromagnetic torus or egg shape around it. That's what they used to present every year and say, this is strange, the Earth is right in the center, but it's expanding. And mainstream science, and I used to agree with this, that the universe is expanding. So I would, you know, and I've actually not thought about this until you said this to me, but I would very much welcome the concept that the Earth, the universe is in fact expanding, and that who knows that there might be more lands. Imagine a fruit growing. You know, that little orange or apple over the course of a season is small and growing and growing and growing. Well, I believe we're in an apple, and so why not it expand and continually grow over the eons?
That's what I feel.
Well,
that's
an
what
interesting thought.
Yeah. Also, what's funny is a bit like on the climate change, because is it Patrick Moore, one of the founders of Greenpeace? I don't know if you've heard him talk. And he's like, you know, in there, and he's like literally fucking, he's like in his 70s, whatever. Fucking hell, it's all bullshit. And he realised that 20 years ago or whatever, and he got kicked out of Greenpeace because it's not really what they want to hear, is it?
No, Bellamy got kicked out of his genre as well, didn't he?
And he's written a book, and essentially it's like every single thing, say for climate change, is something you cannot verify. You know, as in polar bears, it's pretty hard, isn't it? You've got to make an expedition. The plastic ocean in the sea, the Amazon rainforest. It's stuff that it's very difficult. And obviously the flat Earth one is like, it's like beyond measuring the sea. It's like, who do you know that's been into space? I asked my friends that, so you're telling me, you know...
Maybe Nevada desert?
Yeah, but didn't you watch the moon landing? It's fucking hell, mate. Go and watch them again.
Still don't know anyone.
It's like Thunderbirds,
isn't it? Like tin foil. Just come on, mate. Seriously, now you've got AI properly, whatever. Look at that, the state of that shit.
You know what?
But it's like... But no one can verify it.
But I used to just carry on because, you know, single mum at the time, bringing up kids, trying to make ends meet. You can't even go there. And then my son, he's 42, And about 16 years ago, he tried to wake me up to flat Earth as well, but everything.
Wow.
And he told me about adrenochrome, New World Order coming. I don't know how they're going to do it, Mum, but they can do it. I was like, Lee, you've got to lay off the weed. And I can tell you now, I have apologised to him profusely. 2020, but that just shows you, he sowed those seeds years before.
Well before.
And 2020 hit, and I got it.
Yeah.
Then, so what we do, sowing the seeds.
Laying breadcrumbs down. And eventually people were like, I'm gonna jump on that track, and I can fast track myself through a lot of the stuff with your help.
Yeah. But it's too late now because he probably wouldn't talk to me. But it's funny because when I'm getting into the flat Earth and thinking about Antarctica and all that, I used to know a guy 6 years ago. He came and did a talk for my daughter to fundraise to go to Greenland, like an expedition, you know. So and he's the first British guy to go to both poles on expedition since Scott or whoever. I forget now. But I wish I'd been into it then because I could have asked him. He didn't go to it was not the cruise ship, but when they get off and walk, he literally sledged, pulling a sled with all the expedition, and he supposedly got to both the literal North Pole and the South Pole. I can't really message him and say could the Earth be flat? I'm saying it'd be fascinating to hear.
You know what they never do with these expeditions is go in one end and come out the other side. They'll go in and they'll come back out. It might be a triangle, but they will come in and come out around the same peninsula.
I agree. As I say, that's what he would have said to me. But it's just that's a shame. I can't really message him. He'll be well into global Earth. But
I don't think you'll see what they're doing.
I've got the good fortune of going on the ship that was taking Ranulph Fiennes' crew down to Antarctica for him to do across a peninsula some 10 years ago, and they said to me it had taken him 5 years to get permission to do this little mission, which was across one peninsula. He wasn't
nowhere near
going out across or anything like that. No, so there are some interesting, and recently there's been this whole debate about the 24-hour sun in the Antarctica. I don't know if you've come across that at all.
Hello,
Hey, Martin.
brother from another mother.
I could talk to you for a lifetime.
Cool. Well,
It'd take a few lifetimes, I think.
Yeah.
what's the time actually? You're talking about life.
You're giving a talk.
I'm giving a talk at 2:15.
1:20. So you've got almost an hour.
Do you think this is our sun? Do you think the sun is the same as it was before 2020? I remember it was yellow.
Yeah, the sun used to be yellow, but I wonder about the chemming, whether that's not actually making it whiter. Because I have been to other places away from chemming over the last 8 years or 10 years since I've been aware of it, and I sometimes see the yellow sun. I think sometimes it has more to do with the aluminium and the particulate in the air. That's why we're seeing it so white.
Which would make sense.
White hot sometimes.
I'm like, what's that? And the moon? I'm like, what's that?
Yeah, and by the way, for a flat earth, for me anyway, the sun is your own sun. It's a personal interpretation of an energy field, which is why the sun rays come to your feet at sunset at the beach. And then when you're looking at the full moon, you'll notice that the full moon is right around your house where you're looking, and then it gets duller and duller and duller into the distance. However, your friend who lives in the distance will say it's bright by me and dark where you are. How is that possible? So it's a personal lighting system for you. The stars, the astrology is all personal on you based on when you were born and what's happening in the sky today. You want to talk to my wife? She's into astrology.
That's so interesting.
My wife can connect to us through my contacts there, and she's deep into astrology, but from the flat Earth understanding of how it creates the flower of life, and these things are so significant.
So she believes that it's all good, because I'm like, we've got a firmament. Because Hillary Clinton, decades and decades ago, kept saying about sending rockets and getting them through the firmament.
Highest, hardest ceiling, and they did Operation Fishbowl in the 1950s.
Yes, so you think, what?
Well, look at Elon Musk, his rocket. Your compatriot, isn't it? Having trouble. He's having trouble, isn't he? Get up there. He's having trouble.
I mean, if that is the psyop,
One of the ways I like to the Christians, I like to say, you know what you're celebrating with that? You're celebrating man creating a phallic-shaped device to fire it into the belly of the mother. There's a sexual act. That's why it's called space sex. Isn't it? Space sex. In fact, when you spay a dog, it can no longer have children, which is actually what's happening to us.
Yes.
Yeah. So SpaceX, they are doing sex magic on us, and we're all cheering this big old penis flying up into the sky, smashing into the mother.
Yeah.
That's what I think they're doing. It's all very, as you said, when you say someone satanic, kind of like there's a dark energy, and they use that arg energy to control
Katy
us.
Perry goes into space.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, don't get me started on that, mate.
That was embarrassing.
Bloody
to
hell,
even
yeah.
look at. It was embarrassing. You think, who the hell believes this?
Yeah, and then Jeff Bezos goes and gets the door opened on him before he even gets in. Yeah.
You mentioned the sort of Bible earlier, and again, that's one of those things, and I've had that. I don't believe in evolution anymore. I'm with you on that.
Good. It can't be.
And again, that's something that people get really triggered by.
I was big evolutionist myself. Yeah, I was.
I was on the
I'm
Camino.
I've still got to do the work yet. So,
Yeah.
but
He's on the path. He's picking up
you're getting
breadcrumbs.
It's a process.
He's bringing
isn't
up
it?
It is a
breadcrumbs.
process.
And it's a
Have you heard of
spiritual process as
the
well.
Camino in Spain? We did the pilgrimages in Spain, Santiago
Yes.
de Compostela, and I did a few weeks of that a couple of months ago.
Ah, yeah.
And it's lovely out in the sun, walking, lovely nature, and you can walk with people if you want to. There are like thousands of people doing different routes and shit, and you say hello and have a beer in the evening.
Wow.
And you think you're with like-minded people. Fucking hell. No, it's just. Because I'm from Hazelmere, say near Guildford, and someone, where are you from? Surrey. Where about? Hazelmere. Oh, isn't Charles Darwin's house there? I have no idea. Maybe because there was loads of famous people have lived, like George Bernard Shaw, and probably for like a year or something like that.
His house is in Kent.
Depopulationists.
Well, Charles Darwin's house is in Kent, and I used to be look, we're right near Charles Darwin's house. I was such a Darwinist.
I'd never heard of it, and I'm like, okay, no, because he's my hero, Charles Darwin. And I sit there, do I? I couldn't resist it. And there were about eight people. They all knew each other. I was on my own, They'd all kind of they weren't friends, but they all met on their walks.
Yeah.
I was fuck that shit. I wanted to just be on my own, and I'll have a chat. And all that chatting, and I go, it's funny because I don't personally consider him my hero, but whatever, mate. Oh, why not? Because he's like the most amazing scientist that ever lived, and his theory of evolution, and I've got like models at home and all that kind of thing, and I've studied evolutionary biology, and well, I guess quite frankly, there's a lot of issues with him. If you study him a bit differently, there's a lot of literature about who he is,
And his grandfather.
who paid for these trips.
All the people around him. They're all eugenicists.
Freemasons, eugenicists, loads of scientists were kind of unravelling his shit at the time.
Yeah.
That's all been buried, and I sort of kind of gave a little bit of that. They all, basically the entire table left.
Wow.
Apart from one, over a 20-minute period. One Slovenian lady sat there and said, "I feel really sorry for you." But this is your Camino, mate. It was really helpful because it's like, this is your journey. They don't understand that they're on their journey. But
We're all on our journey. We're all on our journey.
It's like I think a little bit low at that point, but you think, you're right. You can all do your
That's
journey.
part of the journey, getting low as well.
But you see, but Charles Darwin, I'm just telling you, that is a fucking trigger.
Of course it is.
He's a high priest.
Come and hear me speak. Thank you.
And you sit there like friends, well, what do you mean about that? And I go, well, so you believe that we came from a primordial swamp? So where are all those people with 3 arms or animals that are
partially human,
4 eyes or what? Oh, well, you don't understand science, mate. It's evolution. And I think the best one I've heard is it's devolution. I think you mentioned the word devolution, but it's devolution. And I'm not religious, but I've actually just done my first download of the Bible because I'm going to start. I've got
Your first what of the Bible?
Your first download, like audio book. I've started on Genesis. I'm just finally I'll do it. And immediately, just like Genesis in the first few minutes, isn't it? Like Noah's Ark and all the stuff. It's straight in there, isn't it?
I need to read the Bible.
And all the
I recommend it. I think there's so much truth in that book. And there's
so much lies as well.
So I see it but I see it also as a playbook for the people that rule us. Like let's say I say to my son, listen, I can't tell you the story, but this is a book I'm going to pass down the generations. You will pass it down, and this is how you interpret it, and this is what we want you to do. And so I think in there is this. So there's opportunity for freedom and opportunity for enslavement.
Absolutely.
The best theory says it's a devolution. So essentially, whether or not it's like Noah's Ark, but essentially there was one type of dog, one type of cat, one type of human or whatever, and then they've devolved. You get mutations, don't you? It's an opposite of evolution.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So you start with the perfect form, and then if a black person marries a white person or whatever, you have a brown, whatever you do. You could have someone with a different disease, whatever.
Yeah.
Effectively, you're like getting different types of cats. So you get tigers and lions, whatever. Might have been one cat
genus,
and they're all still. When you can cross a zebra and a horse, again, they're probably all still from one horse, aren't they?
Right.
And there's
been
and
So we've been devolved. Well, I'm also comfortable with the idea that there's a devolution happening. When we look at our construction with a critical eye, we'll say, wow, the old people, they actually built magnificent buildings that we still gape at today. Oh, we don't build them today because we don't care to, or whatever. And yet horse and cart people, simple people living in mud huts or whatever, we're building these magnificent buildings. And if we wanted to. People say that to me all the time. And there's so many.
Watching the lost history of Flat Earth.
Oh yeah,
actually.
You are and on.
Incredible. Over 5 hours, 5.5 hours. The guy, when he speaks, he sounds like a real dumbass. Thick. He's kind of like that. But the stuff he's talking is
phenomenal.
Sophisticated.
I learned stuff from him.
I don't know who he is. I'd like to track down John. But has he done other stuff? Because I couldn't find anywhere. Is he black? He sounds like he's black, but is he black? Is he black?
I think so, yeah.
Right, and I've never seen anything else by him, but it's extraordinary seeing it. It's going into the whole, because he barely talks about Flat Earth actually in the whole thing. He just goes in like, really? Is this what people with horse and cart built the Taj Mahal? Built the fucking cathedrals? Really?
I think his series was amazing, but right at the end of his series, he said, I've come to look at Liverpool Cathedral, and actually, Liverpool Cathedral was only built in finished in the 1970s or something, and it's in the style of all these other cathedrals. So perhaps this mud flood and Tartaria thing is not really real.
He said that.
He said that at the end. So it forced me. It forced me to go to Liverpool. I went to Liverpool to go and see that cathedral and walk around it for myself. Yes, there's evidence of stuff that was built in the 70s. I'll give you that. But it's got an entire 25-foot basement section, crypt, that is it's one of the biggest buildings in the country. The Liverpool, not the Catholic one, the other one. It's got this entire massive, like all of them, have a massive crypt underground. They have water ingress problems. The curator said to me, as you go to the far end of the building, the sand starts rising up, so the roof comes into your head. It gets too narrow to walk on that section of it. This fits with everything. And the old, what's called the Princess Chapel or whatever, that is all old Tartarian stuff. So for him to have blown the whole thing, poured cold water on it at the end, it was like, whoa, was this some kind of bait and switch kind of thing?
You never know.
Yeah, so
is that AI? They might have used AI.
Yeah, so I went and looked at it, and I'm convinced that there's enough evidence there to say this fits with so many of the other hundreds of buildings we've seen that are of a and what he was saying, of a previous time. And I've looked at many cathedrals in the last 10 years since I started down this road, to kind of understand the mud flood.
Look at Guildford Cathedral, for example. That's an absolute eyesore. It was in the first Omen film, it's where they filmed it's like a real concrete, it's like absolute shit. Do you know what I mean? If you couldn't build a kind of worse looking, awful, sort of cheap, crap cathedral. Again, why is it that we build a new, 60s, 70s, whatever?
John Levi.
I don't think that's John Levi. I don't think that's John Levi, because I follow John Levi. I used to, and I know his voice, and it's definitely not his voice. You are a non. I think some people in England have met him, actually. I seem to have come across people in my memory that have met him, but I'm not sure about all of that. I keep an open mind. I think it's the mind is like a parachute.
I loved your tour. Was it last years ago?
There you go. Thank you.
People controlling this earth classify it as the infallible truth, and they're inverting it and using it against us. To sin against the word of the Bible, and it's absolutely mad. And in the book of Job, as I can't remember what chapter it is now, what one is, but it says man should not accept man's person or title. So when they call you sir or mister, you've accepted man's title, which the Bible tells you not to do that. Do you see what I mean? No, it's crazy world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely mad. But I think what I find confusing is so many of the awake people have become Christians. You notice that, even say James Delingpole, lots of people I respect, or Ryan Christian from Last American Vagabond, they all discuss actually that they've got white pilled. And it tends to be always Christian. It's not a spiritual. It's specifically the Bible and
I'm not so happy with that.
But
maybe. if I could prove the Earth was flat, maybe the Bible is, and all the Christian stuff. I mean,
Actually,
I don't know.
when I first found flat Earth,
I'm close.
when I first learned flat
I'm
Earth,
not
I went and
close,
bought a
but-
Bible for the first time in my life. I had read it a lot as a child, a lot of Bible study, but I was like, wow, the Bible was right after all. So I went and bought it. I read it a bit, and I was like, nah, I'm not feeling this either. You know, but towards the end times, they say there's meant to be this spiritual awakening. So what if the preachers, teachers, and deceivers are going to take their share and go, well, we're going to bring, because who is the great kitty catcher from 2012? Do you remember?
Oh, Russell Brand,
Russell
wasn't
Brand.
it?
Russell
yes.
Brand, and who's just become a Christian?
Yeah, exactly.
Russell
He's
Brand.
another example. All these people.
All these converts up in
so-
those sort of like, what's his name? The other Canadian guy as well.
James Corbett? Or,
No, not James Corbett. No, is that alternative, mainstream alternative mainstream?
Right.
You know,
Right.
like Russell Brand,
Yeah,
like.
So they
Jordan
may
Peterson.
believe it totally, and they're
He's-
not being they're not being deceivers. But I'm not convinced with Russell Brand that this is all organic.
Yes, and there's
rather
lots
than
of them.
try
There's lots
bringing,
of them in that.
bringing people in.
And I feel like something wrong with me, because why is it? That's the thing I'm missing, isn't it? All these great minds who understand that the Earth is flat, whatever, and the viruses are not real, blah blah blah, and they've got the final step, which is to become a Christian.
You know what the weird thing is? I said this to someone.
One set of lies with another.
I
It's
said,
like
I said this to a
dogmas.
Christian brother this morning who is also a flat earther. He said, so you do it through Jesus? I said, no. I'll say this, that I think that if what I was taught as a 6-year-old in Sunday school was the ultimate truth, i.e. Jesus died for my sins and he's my savior, if that was the ultimate truth, why would they bother with the globe light? Why would they bother with anything else? Because now they've given you the one key truth that you need to hold, no matter what I tell you, just hang on to this, right? No. Everything has been deception. So why would I believe that
Just
one
have
thing
blind
just because I was
faith
born in a
that
Christian
and not
community?
everything else, yes.
Because if I was born in a Muslim community, it would be absolutely it's
Allah,
back to
yes.
Muhammad. Back to Muhammad. Well, I mean, for me, Allah and God are synonymous. It's the Muhammad version.
Right,
So it's either Muhammad or Jesus, or no Jesus or Muhammad if you're Jewish. So you know, I think they're not going to have given us the most important truth, and then said we're going to lie about everything else. I think they've lied about everything, and that Jesus was saying this. I say this to my Christian friends: is that the phrase everybody knows is "I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Yes.
No one comes to God but through me."
Yes.
I say, speak those words when looking in the mirror. You're speaking to yourself.
Right.
It's meant to be said verbatim in the first person. I am the way. Not
Very
Jesus was legit, and he said, "You are the way." You know, and they turned it into, "I am the way." You know that you
That's
can't.
very good.
You can't
Very
have
good,
that.
Dave. That's
It's
very
you.
good. Yes, it's you.
You are the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to God but through you.
Yes.
And I can't take that from you.
Yes.
And you
Very
do
good.
not need me to find that way.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
where
very
I'm at.
good.
with that.
Very good. Very good. I like it.
And that's my instinct, and he wouldn't obviously
Yes.
need cathedrals or mosques
No.
or altars to worship at or whatever, isn't it?
You need an altar to change someone.
Right.
You alter them.
Okay, I like altar.
And the cathedrals were cathodes, we believe. They were energy harvesting devices.
Yes.
And for healing and resonance chambers for healing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they were first built
Because
for.
again, like the pyramids, but why would you bother?
Yeah.
Building? You know what I mean? It's like, because it's like to worship God. Yeah, just,
No.
Bury people?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
How high does it need to be? You know what I mean? It's like, couldn't it be like a one-story,
Yes. And none of the mummies are ever found in those big pyramids. They're not from there.
What about that chamber? Well, that's just like they just built that chamber with a shaft. I mean, it doesn't really matter. That's not really important.
And that 20-ton granite slab that they got in there that we couldn't so precisely engineer today.
It was just lying
Don't ask
around.
them
It was just
anyway.
lying around. It was like,
Don't ask anything. Nothing to see here. Move on.
That's why there's no trees. They cut them all down for all the blocks.
Yeah, that's it.
You heard the Chinese try to build a 1/6 scale pyramid,
Oh, did
and
they?
they gave up because they couldn't get
Wow.
1/6 of the scale.
Wow.
So it is an incredible feat of engineering to be able to build that.
And for primitive societies, we can like use 3,000 people with a rope. Let's demonstrate that. Should we all get our mates together and lift one block up? It would be quite funny, wouldn't it, just to do that?
People come to me and say, didn't they debunk that on Mythbusters? I'm like, you're listening to Mythbusters as you're on. You know, or Time Team. Oh, Time Team said this. Oh, okay, that's true then.
Oh, there you go. Believe that.
Yeah.
Forth and believe.
Yeah.
That's what my normal friend says. Oh, haven't you watched Brian Cox?
Oh,
lovely Brian Cox.
You love him.
And they send me links. You and watch this Brian Cox video. He'll show you it's around. Oh, fucking great! Yeah. Well, no, I'm not going to watch it. What can he possibly show me or say?
He's a good guy.
He's not being
He's got a lovely
tasty.
voice, isn't he?
He's got a lovely voice.
He might genuinely believe it. I don't know. He's probably paid, isn't he? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's paid. I think he's paid.
Yeah.
But there are lots of people, very smart people. I mean, even your friend Piers.
Yes.
You know, intelligent people whose minds are so locked away from that they genuinely cannot, in all good heart, give that credence, and therefore they will continue to need to
I
push
just
it
mentioned it
aside.
because I asked him 3 weeks ago at a festival.
Well, he said you should be locked up at Speaker's Corner.
Really?
What? But recently?
Yeah.
Did he say that?
A couple of weeks ago. He said, to be fair, you were shouting at him.
I did shout at him,
But nevertheless, it's like, you know, he is absolutely, I mean, I love Piers.
But from
I
a
see him
distance,
every week.
I wasn't in his face shouting. He was
That's,
off in the-
wow,
I'm like-
big arguments with him
And it's
about
all on
chemtrails
YouTube.
as
It's all
well.
live. It was a live thing. I saw Piers, and I'm like, "Why are you not talking about flat Earth, Piers? This is unacceptable, mate. You are supporting the very people who you'd say you're fighting against." That's basically what it was. And then it set me off, and I had like 50, 80, maybe 100 people around
God
me.
was speaking through you, brother. It was like the spirit had shone forth, and there was a horde of people around him. And it's bait. Actually, mostly it was baiting.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
But
It was
you stood tall, and you let your, you know, wow.
And
something to behold.
I thrive for a moment like that. I had some good ones in 2018 when I was new at it, you know. But it was a nice moment. So I wanted to go over to Piers and apologise to him yesterday. I never got the courage to go and do that. But
I mean, he owes you an apology as well. You know, I've said, you know, because George, what's it, Galloway, called for Piers to be put in prison in 2020.
Really?
Yeah. He never apologised for that. For the lockdown, breaking lockdowns and everything. So it's like, you know. So he should know, but you know.
Yeah, and it was all in
we
good.
all have our
I wasn't. Yeah, and I never cussed him. I never, you know, I was just like, Piers, you need to stop supporting these people. And you know, and then anyway, that was my little rant at
But
Piers.
also, that's your opinion and not his opinion.
Yeah.
So to shout that out in public is a bit.
Well, we're in
This is Speaker's Corner. This is Speaker's Corner.
Speaker's Corner.
Oh, right, I thought you were in the pub.
No, this is the Speaker's Corner, and we've got like a lot of noise going on and what have you. And I've been in it for a few hours. I did, I think, a 6-hour stint that day, and I've been in it for a few hours, 3 hours maybe. And I see Piers, and I'm just in battle really. And I just go, Piers, why? It's all on camera. I've got nothing to hide.
Yeah, you're in Speaker's Corner.
I'm in Speaker's Corner.
Yeah, it is. It really
And then I mean, and you can watch the next 20, 30 minutes. I got these Muslims and others around me abusing the heck out of me. I'm not wearing shoes like him. I'm not wearing shoes.
I wasn't sharing this.
Yep.
Someone goes, "You're not wearing them either." I was going, ah! And this other woman, she had her shoes off as well, and it was kind of like, "Oh my God, it's contagious." Yes, I was taking.
Brilliant, yeah. So
But it
no,
was
they
something.
were trying to abuse me. You know, the video is available to anyone. They were abusing
Are you
the
talking
heck out
about
of me.
Piers?
Yeah.
He abuses everybody. I was speaking about geoengineering at an event in London recently, and he came and started contradicting every word that came out
Really?
of my mouth. And I'd done so much research.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, and look, it's.
Well, so
I'm having big arguments with him all the time. Actually, yesterday I was
He is
arguing
a
with him.
very difficult man, and he's
I think potentially
sadly
he could
not the most honourable of people.
yeah, and so
There's something.
because in honesty, I think that anyone who is honourable would take the information that people like me are giving and saying, okay, I'll go and have a look at that. I don't have to believe anything you tell me, but I realise that this game is so rigged that I'm willing to look at things I've never looked at before. And so that he lacks that was what I was trying to point out to him and say, listen, you need to be willing to look at these things as well, because you are no different than the vaccine defenders. You know, you hear the same rhetoric.
So I have a question
So
for you.
it's like, I mean, I've known Piers for a long time.
I
Since the 90s.
have not.
always
I've
been
got so many other things I'm doing within the resistance
biggest
movement
critic.
that I'm not
You have
have the
good
time. So I've
metaphorical punch-ups with the
dipped
guy.
my toe into
Like
the flat
including
Earth
yesterday.
thing.
I was
But
going,
what
yeah,
I
so
can
these
see
chemtrails,
is how
it's all
very
completely
useful
natural,
it
isn't it,
is
Piers?
to
And stuff.
have
Yeah, it's all completely natural. And so
a
all this
structure, a
hanging sky,
construction,
yeah,
a
but it's a cloud.
matrix that makes us distrust what we see with our own eyes.
They made a cloud at the
And
back
so
of
I
a
can
plane.
see why.
That's called weather manipulation.
That's why
No,
I
it's
can see that it's a really good
we're
idea
in the debates.
for them to tell us the Earth
Whether
is a
it
globe
makes any
spinning
difference
at
there, I don't know, but
whatever
I mean,
it is, which just doesn't seem to work
I think it's
with
I
what
love
we
it.
see.
Once you really think about the model that we were given, it doesn't seem to work.
Well,
You're
it
right.
doesn't work. I mean, you know, the moon. The moon is not going out of vision constantly. The moon is not. You know, the stars are not going out of and coming back. I mean, no. You take a photograph with a time delay camera, and that doesn't.
And then that pendant you're wearing, if you track the stars on like Mars, Venus, and Mercury on the flat Earth, they make those patterns. that
Yeah, I
you've got
know,
on
it's
your
divine
pendant.
geometry.
Yeah,
I know.
and that's what we're seeing created on the flat plane of the Earth. So I think it's a divine trick. It's a trick to hide our divinity. Yes, when you are 5 and 6 years old, they are altering your mind. They are shifting you by saying, don't trust your senses. You are spinning even though you don't think you are. The water is curving even though you've always had a bath with level water and the lake looks level and everything else looks level. So they're taking control of your mind in that way. And you're no longer trusting your innate.
It's not so much taking control of the mind, it is creating a situation where you don't trust what you see with your own eyes.
That's right.
And that seems to be that suits their purpose very, very well.
Absolutely. The controlling. And as I say to people, I mean, one, we're being controlled in the physical, but I think it's more important that we understand that we're also being controlled in the metaphysical. And they're trying to affect our soul passage, our soul journey, our soul experience.
Well, now look at what they're doing with all the end-of-life care in the hospitals, where they're drugging people through the portal into the next life, and that's evil.
My father-in-law died 7 years ago of cancer complications. He had about a 7 to 10 day window where he was slipping in and out. And on about the 4th or 5th day of that window, I'll see you later. On the 4th or 5th day, he phoned my wife up in the middle of the night and said, please come and get me out of hospital. They're performing murder rituals. So he was seeing something, that the processes that they're doing are actually a murder ritual, even though the nurses are good nurses doing what they believe is the right thing.
They are doing. It's horrific, and you know what is going on in the NHS at the moment in this country is organ retrieval. It's all about your organs, and it's particularly bad with young women because they're not just after their organs, they're after their eggs.
Wow.
So young women who faint or have a seizure or anything, chances of you actually coming out alive are pretty slim. And they're using adrenaline, using an intraosseous adrenaline gun. Now, you know that there's an inquest going on into Kate Shemirani's daughter's death.
Really?
Have you read about that?
No.
Okay, so Hello, Simon!
Hello, Simone.
Honey!
Oh, she's the same name as me.
Simon
She's got E on her
Oh,
name.
darling, yeah.
I'm Simon and
I've
she's
got more than
Simone.
an E on my name, darling. I've got a lot of other things that you don't have.
I'll take that.
But you have things I don't have.
Well, of course.
Yes.
I've got
Yes.
charm.
You've got endless
Simone's
charm.
got charm as
She's
well.
very
I'm
charming.
I'm charming too.
Charm.
In fact, you're both charming and both very handsome, I
Oh,
have
that's
to
very
say.
kind of you to
But
say.
he's got the advantage that
Twins.
he's got his shirt off and you're wearing yours.
Well, I've got to advertise my brand.
Yeah.
Well, yes, indeed.
WTF is going on. Oh, is that a podcast or?
No,
He's got a whole TV station.
It's a whole network. What the fuck is going on with the world?
I think I've heard of that. Actually.
Well, yeah, I filmed you. I haven't released your video. In fact, I want to film your Flat Earth stuff. I've got loads of Flat Earth videos. I filmed Flat Earth Dave, Flat Earth Ian.
Oh, It Sounds Beautiful.
Yes, I filmed you about 3 years ago up in that.
Yeah.
Your computer didn't work and it was on a little
right.
screen.
That's right. I'm going without a screen this time.
Yeah, it's wiser to go without a screen.
Have you got
I'm just
power?
talking
Yeah,
with the
sometimes it's good to have PowerPoints
PowerPoint,
because
yeah.
I can burn PowerPoints into the video. give it a bit of perspective and contrast and stuff.
I'll give you a card before, or you can give me your number, and we can always exchange emails.
Yes, go to my website actually. You can contact me via that.
I'm going to go that way. I'm going to leave
See
you
you in a
two
minute.
talking.
I really like
go
that
pendant.
It's sacred geometry, and
geometry,
it's
exactly.
silver infused shungite inside.
That sounds a big
lovely.
word.
I know someone who makes these pendants.
You make me one. Can they make I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Studied cymatics?
I'm sorry?
Have you studied cymatics? Cymatics?
I don't know what that is.
Cymatics. It's the study of how frequency or vibration creates those
I know
patterns.
about.
I'll catch
I know
up with you. I've got
about
to
that.
get
I
the
didn't
filming
know it was
going.
called
I've got to go as
cymatic. I didn't
Okay.
know it was called cymatics,
Yeah,
but yes, I
yeah,
have.
yeah,
I've looked a lot
It's all,
at
the
sacred
stars are
geometry.
cymatics.
Yeah,
It's all-
and a lot of the religious symbols are cymatics.
Yes, and particularly the oculus in the church and all of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely, Simone. Lovely to chat. Thank you.
Lovely. And keep doing what you're doing. The more people open their minds, the better.
All the best to you, my dear.